let's do this. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Maude's Book Club. I'm already half a bit deep. That's right. It's that kind of thing. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that, but everyone, welcome. Maude's Book Club time. We're going full spoilers because it's a part 2 for Eye of the Bedlam Bride, which is book 6 for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Adam Vision says, uh-oh. Adam, can you help me with my stream tomorrow, please? I've been trying to play some Hammerfall with Adam, actually, because he introduced this game. I put it to the group to suss it out, and I want to play it. I want to know if it's any good. Lisa, thank you so much for 38 months saying, let's go. Catch, thank you for 40 months. You love to see it. Aaron, 53 months. 53 months. And he's rocking book club exclusive merch for the merch tier of our... Adam Vision sends his regards. Sometimes it's just a thing of beauty, the way that works. I'm gonna, in my head, Adam sent me the burp. And that's canon.
Timing on that was exquisite.
Oh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Loving that big time. I can't remember what we're talking about. But hi, everyone. Books. Thanks, KP Dubs. We got some books happening. Terry says, like I said in the pre-show, and that was a flex if anyone was wondering, because we were just hanging out before the show together, hence me already half a bit deep, saying book 6 is like a 10 out of 5. Book 7 is a 20 out of 5. Now, we are just obliterating whatever rating system exists. We're just like 20 out of 5. 50 out of 5, like it is whatever it needs to be at this stage. KP Dub says, oh my God, the pre-show, you guys, just wow. Yeah, that's right. What happened? You had to be there. You just had to be there.
It goes down in the pre-show.
How do you get there? Great question, Academic, whose face I'm looking at since you are in the pre-show and the chat and live and in the Discord call, because that is a perk of Members Plus. Head over to patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. Sign up to be a Member Plus. You get access to the Discord video call all throughout our book club streams, plus a little pre and post show hang. You got to psych up and then cool down, That sounds like a sports thing. Warm up, cool down. They were talking about sport when I got on today. I'm talking about fucking sport, the audacity. I was like, hey guys, how you going? And what were you saying? Quarterback did the or something. I don't know. It all sounds the same to me. Go on, Tim. What were you saying? What were you talking about?
Not even remotely close. We were talking about a fight between an NBA player and a fan. Which is honestly something very Australian. It just happened to happen here.
KB Dubs, that's not true. That's not true at all. He says, if we have a bad show, Maude rips us a new one in the after show. See, the lie is we've actually never had a bad show. That's where the blatant lie was in there. What does a bad show look or feel like? I mean, there's shows that what percentage did we talk about the book? Sometimes it's 4%. What book? Spent all this time reading it just for me to talk about, I don't know, 9 dogs that I've had in my life so far. Who knows? Jay Buntrock says, we started talking about how terrible Philadelphia fans are. Okay, now I'm interested. Why did a fan, this feels like a knock-knock joke. Why did a fan walk into a bar and pick a fight with a sports person?
No, walked into the stands and picked a fight.
Okay, what happened? What happened?
Off court, up into the seats, punched a dude out.
What did the dude do?
And the wrong dude,
he was running his mouth. He was chirping, and the guy couldn't take it, and he got mad.
Was he just chirping, or was he throwing stuff on the court?
Was he throwing stuff?
I don't think so.
Consequence.
Like 30, 40 years, like 30, 40 years ago, a fan was at a hockey game was like throwing stuff at the bench.
That did happen.
And he got too close to the player's bench, and they basically pulled him over the glass into the player's bench and beat the crap out of him.
Beat the tar out of him? That did happen. But Ron Artest got mad at a fan and ran up into the stands and started a fight.
Yeah, hit with a beat. Guys wasn't even involved.
Did he get hit? Did he get hit with something? Okay.
his leg, and then a beer from a fan flew and landed right on his face, and then he
it wasn't like just chirping. It was like
it wasn't completely unprovoked. I didn't think it was unprovoked, but it did happen. And you're supposed to be a professional athlete. You're supposed to have some measure of composure.
Agreed, but if you're starting throwing like beer bottles at me, I feel like composure has left.
She's just like, "Peace, bye."
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our stream now. We run this.
I did ask. That was my bad. I did ask. My mistake. I regretty spaghetti. I should not have opened that. Should not have opened that.
We were talking about how bad Philadelphia is.
And you too can get this experience if you join Members Plus.
It's like when Carl was at that signing event and he stabbed the guy with the pen. It's just like that. See,
Great segue. Great segue. KP Dubs, you can stay. Thank you, Ali, as well, for resubbing for 7 months. And you just said S. And honestly, I agree. I absolutely agree. I know exactly where you're coming from with that. A lot of fun. Vaden says, I swear we do talk about fun stuff in the pre-show too. Brushkid says, Moore's Book Club, where we talk about sports and off-topic comments for the first 15 minutes. Ooh, almost guaranteed.
15. Wow, that's generous.
Yeah, 15. Remember one time it was 50 and like every second comment was one of you guys commenting in the show being like, and now let's talk about the book. I was like, no. I don't think I like the book.
To be fair, you did not like that book, so it's not a surprise we didn't talk about it.
Wasn't it? Oh, it was just one of the 2 books that I've not liked over the course.
Every time you try to get like, we're trying to get you back on topic, you basically, Uncle from Jackie Chan Adventures, one more thing about the other thing that we
Yeah, that sounds about right. Anything but talking about a book I don't like. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Just talk about one more thing. Barnaby Prime says, I was watching The Office recently, and I think that the spell meat hooks could be hot dog fingers with almost no change to the meaning or intent. What? You know what? That kind of conversation, perfect here. It makes no sense. I have 0 questions. I have 1,000 questions. What the fuck is a great start. But I love it, and it's so welcome here. And to the answer is yes. I agree. I don't know that I've purposely seen one full episode of The Office or Parks and Rec. Not my show.
You're not missing anything. It's not great.
Yeah, Tim, you don't like Brandon Sanderson books. You have no leg in this fight. Leg? Is that a thing? You have no leg in this fight?
No skin in the game.
There you go. Yeah. I like no leg in this fight. I just think...
I think you meant to say no legs to stand on.
I do. I combine 2 sayings. I do this all the time.
Yeah, it's dog in the fight.
I used to do this on radio all the time and we'd be live. And I would always combine 2 different... Robin's losing it. Shit. Nothing's changed. Look, the end of this book we're about to discuss is so jam-packed full of a fuck ton of things that we are going to unpack. I have a few Reddit tabs open. That's how rabbit holey we are about to get with this book series. The first thing that we do, though, when we're going full spoilers for a part 2 on a book is ask, is book good? Is book good? Who didn't?
Yeah, it's good.
Who didn't give it a 5 and above out of 5? Oh, Tim, shut up. I'm kidding. He puts his hand up. Tim hasn't read the book. We don't know how to convince him to read Dungeon Crawler Carl. Because if we say, don't read Dungeon Crawler Carl, he says, okay. And if we say, you need to read Dungeon Crawler Carl, he's like, the more you mention it, the less I want to read it. There is no version of an argument or a debate to get you to read the book where you read the book. He looks so smug. Okay. Oh, wow. Tiwin says, book okay. Yes.
It's a real catch-22.
Oh, you had to. I'll cheers to that. Delivery could have been a little faster because it was right there. But apart from that, like 5 out of 5. Well done. Speaking of 5 out of 5s, Manta173 says, F, yes, it's good. It is a 25 out of 5. Yeah, Tier 1 says book okay, 4.95 out of 5. What did you deduct 0.5 of a score from that? I'm very interested. And what what was that 0.05 to the point where it only made a book okay instead of nearly perfect. Barnaby Prime says, you mentioned Reddit, so I guess it's a perfect 5 out of 7. I get that reference. Baden says, book good, 5.01 out of 5. Brush Kid says, Katie thinks the book's a 10 out of 5. Snores is in the house. Get your butt in here, bud. Says, book good. Book good. Aaron is saying, family drama and trauma, all from Carl. There you go. Oh, I got a follow-up on The Office. The Office is awkward and cringy, and I watched under duress, said this is awkward and cringy, and have since watched the series a few times. I cannot explain it. That's actually a great review. That is a great review. K. Frito said, Tim, the book is good and bad for you right now. Oh, yeah. I think the answer to that is just, okay. Jay Buntrock, 5 out of 5, no complaints. Academic says book is good. Tiwin says book 7 is better in my opinion. People keep saying this. Ugh. Aaron says 6 out of 5. The last third was great and the epilogue was insane. Pianki says 5 out of 5. Robin says book real good, 5 out of 5. KP Dubs says, on our Fable app, we gave it a collective 4.95 out of 5. Who was it, KP Dubs? Who was it that didn't give it? Who the fuck was it? Who? I need names. I need names.
Just want to talk. We just
Ain't no
talk.
rat.
We just want to talk. You're not a rat.
I just put my my review in Fable now, so that should go up.
Who was it? They're not wrong. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, no matter how bonkers it is. Drawing down the score like that, though. KP Dub says the game I rating last week 4.99 out of 5 because you couldn't give it a perfect score because the next book is better. Lisa says book real good, 5 out of 5. Academic says book 7 is different. I want to know what you mean by that, but I don't. But I want to know. I'm going to read book 7 so dang fast, which sucks because we're reading books. If you don't know, Words of Radiance is our March book. We're going to be splitting this felt like Jenga. We're going to be splitting this giant book up into 3 parts. It's only one book the entire month because it is honestly a weapon of a book. I just put it on my desk and it shook. How many pages? Great question.
Real quick tangent on that series, though. Did you see the video of the YouTube channel that basically they made giant, like, tomed versions of the entire series? Like, just managed to make giant prints of each book and cool covers for it.
I want. I'll need names.
I will link that in show chat.
Hell yeah. 1080 pages is what I was looking for. Yes, Colleen.
Is that the one where she took the covers off of all of the books, pushed them all together and rebound it into one giant book?
I've seen that, and it's like 1.5 meters high. Oh, yeah. Lisa, no, you're muted. She's about to spill tea on this. I know you are. Nah, still can't hear you. Oh, dog cute though. Oh, she bounced. She's going to come back in. Can I? Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
I was saying that the one where she bound them all together was the Wheel of Time books. But she created like giant Stormlight Archive books. Was able to get Wind and Truth early. Be able to create the 5th book. Like they went all in on it. And then they gave them the
Like they gave her like the PDF files early so that they could print it. Like, and there's basically like, you only have one shot at this because like you can only print these things like one time each. They're so big.
Oh, wow.
I put the video in show chat so you can watch it later.
Thank you. Jeff has said something that's just quite incredible. We're just doing one book in March because it's 1,080 pages. Jeff said, I finished Words of Radiance in 3 days. It's doable. 3 days. That's how long Ariel had to kiss Prince Eric. 3 days. You read the... You read the whole book. You read the whole book. You read 340. I don't know. What is that? Divide 3. 350 pages? More? A day? A day? All right. That's great. Words of Radiance is 32 hours at 1.5, says Jay Buntrock. Okay. Barnaby Prime says, Book 7, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll have several what the fuck moments. We've already got that. Kate's here. The channel is called Nerd Forged. Thank you for that. Tate, thank you so much for 23 months. Currently on a 20-month streak. It's been so great to have you. Kate giving us all clarity in the comments as well. Nope, it's a Wheel Time series, but yes, it's the same channel. And she gave those to Brandon Sanderson. Love it. Tilwyn says, I just ordered the hardcovers of the first 3 Dungeon Crawler Carl books because I need to read the backstage at the Pineapple Cabaret sections. What? What's that? Who's got info on that, please? Are they only in the hardcover? There's like, what, an excerpt that we are not aware of? Who did he kiss after those 3 days? Yeah, wrong chick. Thank you, Sprinkles. Wrong chick. Brunettes supersede redheads, apparently. Or the competent ability of talking. Maybe everyone should think about being a little bit more extroverted if you want a bit of nookie. What's that, Aaron?
What they were talking about.
Academics looking at the logic.
Book 1 bonus material backstage at the Pineapple Cabaret. It'll be in reverse anyway, but it's like at the back end of the first book.
Oh, okay, cool. Did you know that? Or did you just discover it? That's cool.
Just discovered because of the chat.
That's really cool. Thank you, Tiwan. We got, love it.
I only listened to it up to this point, and I just recently got the Kindle stuff, but it's like, don't want to go back just yet because I want to keep going forward.
Jeff says, I finished Edge Dancer in 1 day and I'm most of the way through Oathbringer. Oh, you just kept going. You read ahead. We got to read ahead. Jeff, are you not in the chat because we've got full? Are we full in the inn? No?
No, we got like 8-9 more slots.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think so. Good to know. Thank you so much to Jamila 1966, who just followed or subscribed on YouTube, which is a channel that I have, which we're going to be using a lot more of because Twitch is a bitch. You heard it here first. They are making sure that we only had 100 gigabytes of VOD content available at any given time, and they start deleting your shit if you don't minimize or export it. So all the gaming streams from like 2023 and prior, gone. Maddie says it was a lot to go through. Twitch making it very difficult for us. So we're going to be doing a lot more on YouTube is what we're hearing. The time that Carl found out he had a brother, that was great. Oh, you're trying to get me back on track. You're trying to get me back on track, KP Dubs. I really appreciate that. Kate says, the Vanessa Ursula gets freaky though. Yeah, it's in the eyes. The come hither eyes. Maybe that's it. She does that look down flutter thing going. I noticed no one took notes. I love that for you. You didn't need to take notes for that. You go get them. Slay queens. Manta said, one word about the end. Crabs. We're going to provide some context for that soon. Chowder, says KP Dubs. Academic says, I just headed into Oathbringer 2 after detouring into Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 7. Toaster Posters in the house. Lovely to have you here. All right, let's get started. Ooh, we got theories. Now, this was a little bit of a sloppy breakfast, so bear with me as I try to navigate this. We've already kind of talked about what the Eye of Bedlam Bride is. Now, I do have a recap, and it is available for everyone to read online. The problem is that it's technically the recap that's going to be in Book 7. So it's no spoiler for Book 7, apart from the fact that it's going to be in Book 7. And I've cut some of it out, but who wants me to read it? You're all okay with it? KP Dubs, have you started Book 7 yet?
I have finished Book 7.
Okay, well,
I gave it a better rating than
you did. Yeah. Okay. I just thought that there was such a nonchalant.
I'm gonna say my reread for book club in June, July, whenever we picked it. I can't remember.
July.
July. I'm already thinking about August as well. Like we're moving forward for this. Okay, the chat is saying yes, go for it. Okay, the problem is it's written, but it's a character doing the recap, and that character I can't bring to life close to what Jeff Hayes can do. Kate says, why does each book now make me cry with the crawler death? I'm worried about who's going to die in book 7. Okay. I can always count on Academic, who has the worst poker face. KB Dubs, you didn't move a damn thing. I checked. Academic, you went, damn it. God damn it, Academic. Okay. Shit. All right, Kate, we're fucked.
God damn it, Donut.
There it is. Robin says, I've already heard this, so go for it. I'm not going to do it justice. It is Quasar. Sorry, Quasar with the soft Q. Quasar. If you've been reading this and you don't know what Quasar sounds like, it's not going to be close to what I'm doing, but I will give it my red hot go. Okay, so there's a little bit at the start, which I'm trimming the fat, and we're going to try to get stuck into it. Anyway, Donut and Carl got stuck in a place called Cuba, and they collected several cards. In the end, they ended up with a seal thing, a crab named Raul, a giant terrifying cat, this donkey snake thing, a guy named Uzi Jesus, and another guy named Asahano, who both got combined to another guy named Lazarus. Oh, and he had a card named Alpha Carl, and that was just really Carl, but with like way better hair and a much cooler voice. Why is that? Because he was voiced by Patrick Warburton. If you're reading the books, you're sleeping on this. Patrick fucking Warburton. Voicing not only the dad, but Alpha Carl. Are you kidding me? It was so good. Okay, getting back into this, really regret 3/4 of a beer before doing this.
It's helping because your impression's so far so good.
In the end, they had to use these cards to fight other card-wielding monsters, and these fights were like a Circadian orgy. I don't know what that means. Does anyone want to explain that to me?
Circadian is the type of alien that Princess Donati is. Lots of tentacles, lots of... So, you can imagine. Yes.
I preferred not knowing. Well, can't take that back now. Okay. They all started off organized with people following the ground rules. I have to have my cigarette in my hand to do this. I don't know why. If I put the cigarette down, I can't do it. But when I pick the cigarette up, because he vapes the whole time. He's vaping.
He vapes. Not really a cigarette.
He vapes. He's vaping. And he looks like a gray, quintessential sort of like Roswell alien, right? Yeah.
But in a suit with a tie.
It hurts. But the moment that something weird happened, there was a lot of crying, a lot of bleeding, and a whole lot of screaming confusion. You know, I have to put all this in a school report, right? You know, what about, oh no, this is the chick. You know, I have to put all this in a school report, right? Okay, so Quasar's talking to his, niece?
Yeah.
Niece? Mm-hmm. I'm going to cut out all that stuff because he starts talking about anal beads.
That's an important part of the story.
Oh no. Wow. Anyway, Carl's team basically got donkey fucked by the system, and it looked like they wouldn't get a key to the next floor. And there was this little ass smear of a prick named Quan. You know your grandmother? Yeah, it's kind of like her, but not as bad. Anyway, this little sadistic nipple hair. Oh my god. Stole Carl's key, so Carl pretty much had to kill him, though he didn't like get a player killer skull. Right afterwards, though, this other crawler that people kind of liked died. Her name was Seren. I don't fucking remember, but she was a dog girl with a flamethrower and a pet meatball whose name is
Surrender Girl.
No, well, that's the. But what's the meatball's name?
Oh, here.
Garrett, the tummy acher.
Garrett. Did I tweet Matt Dinnerman and asking if Garrett was actually named after me? Yes, I did. Did he confirm or deny? No, he did not. Did I ask him to make it canon? Yes. Hashtag Maude the Meatball. And he said, I'm so scared to click on that hashtag. Turns out it's never been used before. Thank God. Anyway, it was sad as shit. So what else happened? What else happened that you recall, Uncle? So there's this other chick on the floor, a nun, Sister Inez. It was actually like a serial killer lady. She was a cat girl, by the way. Funny as shit because Princess Donut didn't like her. Nun lady went insane, though there's some question on how it happened. At the end, though, she pretty much started working with Sheol the demon, a Mayon, who came to the world during a demon eviction event, and Louis ended up putting her down. But in doing so, Louis ended up marked for death by a god that was sponsored by those like weirdos, nebulars. Luckily for Louis, that same god, you're salty. I was like, you're salty.
Yep, I thought too.
You're salty. Your salty ended up killed by Paz, who got turned into a card. Also, something else happened after that god died, but only between us viewers saw something that's like going to be a big deal later. It has to do with one of the ladies in the party, but I can't even remember her name. She's like, that's so confusing. You want confusing? Just ask me how they got into the stairwells at the end. It's like not really important. Look, the important stuff that you need to remember is that on this upcoming 9th floor, neither Donut nor Katya can leave until all the Naga are dead. And even once that happens, only one of them can leave. So Katya has this deal with that rich CEO lady sponsoring the goddess, Alithia. What is that? Elithia. To go to the 12th and be a celestial attendant, and Katya has to eat this flower thing, which is going to give her 3 choices. One of which is to be a 12th floor attendant, and if it works, and if all that works, then Donut can leave. It's because they both put on some tiara. And then she says, well, Juan Sin Jinx was the sponsor, right? Yeah, I'm not too familiar with this whole part. Isn't she the one who cloned herself? The one that got banned years ago for cheating? Yeah, same one. When she got banned, it was Princess Donut's manager, Mordecai, who got railgunned by it. I don't remember that. Is that why the brother died? I thought that was Odette. This is conflict.
Juan Jinx was the one that they were working with. That was in the prologue of this
both the prologue and Odette's whole explanation.
Who wanted to work with Odette and then doubled her fee and then almost doubled it again. And then Odette's like, yeah, okay, right. Got it. Anyway, there are now 10 teams on Faction Wars. The Princess Party is one of the teams. One of the teams are the NPCs, led by a psychotic changeling named Juicebox, who's been running around killing everybody until the system put a stop to it by making her a warlord. And she's in love with that guy, Louis. I like Louis. It'd sure be sad if something terrible happened to him this next floor. Fuck. Why
That's
did...
the niece.
Oh, that's the niece?
Clearly a wink.
I like that. Yeah, sorry. He's the one who kept having sex with the changeling and making her morph into historical figures from Earth. Exactly. That was Juicebox, which goes back to rule number 1. Be careful who you're nice to, because if you're nice to the wrong person, they'll either take advantage of you or worse, they might leave. That seems like terrible advice. Might never leave. Oh, that's like Samantha. That's like, or Shi-Maria. Anyway, this thing goes on and on. Okay, I'm going through all the stuff that doesn't matter. Anything else I need to remember? Yeah. All those rich fuckers on the floor, like Prince Stalwart, the orc, and that banker operatic guy, or epitome tag from the dream. Who is that? Okay.
He's like one of the elf people or something.
They can all really die now. It's gonna be a shit show. An epic, but sir, you haven't taken a bath shit show. You are so disgusting, Uncle Quasar. You haven't even mentioned the whole thing with the homeless shelter, or the last card, or the Eye of the Bedlam Bride. The spider is in him now, isn't it? He shrugged. The homeless shelter was a non-event. Nobody really knows how that's going to turn out with the spider in his chest. Tempest twisted a pipe and cursed as the whole unit came out. I don't need to read that. Can I ask you a serious question, Uncle Quasar? He took another drag. What is it? She let a bonded polymer pipes fall on the floor. What? Oh, she did. She let the whatever that is. Are you in danger for representing him? I mean, like real danger? Quasar let out a long stream of smoke. He wanted to lie, but he decided to tell her the truth. The kid deserved it. I think we all are, kiddo. For the first time in my life, I'm glad we live so far out in the middle of nowhere. All right, so things are getting fucked. That was the recap. The main things I want to talk about. Scroll up.
He thinks the homeless shelter thing is a non-issue, and then we find out, oh no, It is a real thing.
So let's talk about that right now. What happens? Carl goes for a walk. He wants to dip out by himself. Everyone's having a Christmas party in the safe room. He needs to handle it. Just says he's going to get some air. Of course, that's bullshit. He goes to like a gas station, and there's a bathroom there. And on it, there's graffiti. Now, what's interesting about this graffiti... Excuse me. One more. I got one more. There it is. We got E.G. Mitchell, the guy whose mum Louis wants to bone. Oh, it's actually Louis. Oh, what? Thank you, KP Dubs. It's in Syndicate Standard. So it's not in English. It's written in Syndicate Standard. So anyone who's in the crawl can actually read this. And it basically says to meet in the morning at this particular location. Look for the guy in like the red hunter hat. Essentially, it's a hunter hat. I think the hat with the flaps. It's got flaps on it. And he finds this guy, and it's a homeless man who's basically going on a rant. And in this rant, he talks about how he's an alien species and how he knows that the planet Earth is going to be taken over. It's only a matter of time, but they need to work together to try and sort of like disrupt the crawl that's happening. Now, in that moment as well, he was made to drink coffee and then listen to the speech. And then he also finds that there is loot. So there is loot that has been left behind and it got confiscated. So immediately he gets zipped out of there before the speech can have its entirety put to broadcast. Quasar's in there, the lawyer, who's like, hey, he has this item fair and square. And they said, yes, but in the item is a way to upgrade Carl. And we won't allow that. That is against the rules. And so they negotiate for Carl to kind of like have more bodyguards or to rescue the NPCs, something like that, so that he has to give up this upgrade. Now, if you're like me and you have gone into a big rabbit hole over this, first of all, the upgrade they are saying was in the coffee. The bag with the upgrade materials was a red herring. Well, we're just speculating. We're speculating. Because the coffee is mentioned so many times throughout this moment. There is emphasis on drinking the coffee and then hearing the speech. Now, what was interesting is that what is this guy's name and role? He's a mediator. What is he? The guy who's negotiating the terms and saying you can't have what's in the bag.
Oh, Oren?
Oren, yeah.
Oren, yeah, and he's a liaison. Thank you, Darren. A liaison, and Aaron. Darren and Aaron. Darren and Aaron. First time. They're trying to negotiate those deals in Quasar. He's like, hey, dude, is what that guy's saying true? And he's like, no, everyone knows they're full of shit. Everyone knows it's bullshit. Everyone knows that they just spout this stuff and it's crazy, da-da-da-da. And like, even in the epilogue, it was confirmed that a lot of what was in that message was made up or it wasn't actually true. But we're also hearing that the way that that message was put about was the clue. It's not necessarily what's being said, but it's how it was set up to be received. So they're basically saying that if he had to drink the coffee, it's the coffee that had the upgrade in it and that was already ingested, and then he got the message. Hiding the truth in the propaganda, says Kate. Exactly. So that's a really big one. I'm just trying to see. Oh, here we go. I know that Carl had the plastic tub confiscated from Oren, but I can't help but think that that was a red herring. What if the dog that Carl came back to visit at the gas station had given something to him? This is what Reddit's speculating. But the running theory is that the plastic tub was a red herring, but it was the coffee. The coffee most likely had some sort of upgrade in it, and that's why the message was saying to drink the coffee first and then to listen to the message. Now, another part in the epilogue, Agatha knew from the chatter that her competitors were also attempting something bold. They were going to attempt to contact crawlers directly this season, either in the dungeon or during the likely flaw with the memory ghosts. For months now, this is a direct quote from the epilogue, by the way. For months now, they'd been forcing their agents to recite a daily mantra filled with known inaccuracies and half-truths, all in the hopes a crawler will see it. The inaccuracies were given in order to preserve the crawlers' lives at the hands of the murder-happy showrunners. What they were truly doing was secretly implanting the crawler with a hidden upgrade, though Agatha wasn't certain what that upgrade was or the purpose of it. When Carl gets to the shelter, he looks around, he sees coffee, then speech in old graffiti written in Syndicate Standard. Now, since the Pacifist Network sponsor have pretty much outed themselves and are now terrorists for having Carl go see this residual, give the speech, which half is bullshit, I think that there has to be something else there for him. And since the coffee was mentioned several times, it's either a huge red herring and Matt's fucking with us and it is just coffee, or it's the hidden upgrade. And then this is the excerpt from the book in that moment. "It is time," says the man speaking loudly. He had a deep, raspy voice. In American accent, he was speaking in English. He turned and looked directly at me. He took a drink of coffee inside, making eye contact, says, "Nothing like coffee to wake your ass up." He took another sip, smacked his lips. "Hello, crawler," he said. Carl grabs a cup of coffee and drinks it. He mentions its tastes at least twice, once when he got transported to Oren's office. So that's a big part of the epilogue that we're getting. It's not necessarily what's being said, but how it's being delivered. So why is it so important that Carl has an upgrade? And why is it Agatha and her team that are doing it? There is a whole other speculation about the AI going primal. Now, this is a deep dive that I don't quite understand, but usually the AI starts to lose it and the technology and the AI start going primal, which is like a terminology used for AI. It's not Agatha. No, Agatha is an agent. The AI
The people that did it, that gave Carl the coffee, that's her, like the people opposite of her.
Yeah, they're from the same. They're both residuals, but there's two different residual groups. There's Agatha's residual group, and then there's this group, and we don't know exactly what their allegiances are or what their roles are. But yeah, they're different groups.
So Agatha's a different one, and Agatha's goal is to. It said it in the prologue. Agatha's goal is to eradicate everything.
All life, all biological life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Agatha has like a call sign now. So they're all numbered agents. And I believe someone in the group sees Agatha and calls her. Yeah, is it 22? 212? Yeah. Catch 22. Interesting. Oh, his head snaps. Agatha's call sign's 22. Is that why you would read the book? Okay, that was a stretch. I admit it. Nick says, it reminds me of the parasite from Red Rising. I think the voice talking to Carl at the end about Shi-Maria is the upgrade helping him out. Interesting. Okay, so this whole primal thing, this is another separate conversation altogether. The AI is running it. Apparently, the AI doesn't start going a bit bonkers until later on. It's like usually like level 10, 11 that it starts, or 9 even, that it starts like kind of going a little bit primal. The AI is going bonkers ahead of schedule. What was really interesting in this book is that the AI showed up as an NPC. A big question that I want to ask you guys is we backtrack. We see sort of a way where he's been infected by the pox. He's got these slugs oozing out of him from level 1 and they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he visits the shrine to get blessed and to get healed. And that's what we thought happened. But in the last set of the book, we realized that that's actually not how it happened at all. And we kind of revisit this moment. Now, I'm a bit confused as to what does happen, but apparently all of these NPCs that he's been rescuing, all the strippers, all of Astrid's sort of like extended family, he's hired them and he's made sure that he's like responsible for these NPCs. He pretty much locked them in a room and gave them all the pox. And they've been spewing out these slugs, knowing that each slug that comes out in an incremental time is going to level up and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, apparently, this is Carl building a fucking slug army. He's building a slug army. That's the goal of this. This is the point of it. These slugs Why else is he doing this? What's everyone else's thoughts about how he's saving NPCs, but now he's literally torturing them to create a Sluggerloss salami? Thank you, Toaster Poster, for salami.
He's paying them.
Because he knew that they were going to be fine. Like, they could keep dying in that, like, training room because they can keep getting resurrected. So it's like, well, since you're going to survive it anyway, might as well just subject you to this horrendously, disgusting situation.
And that's why...
still hurt?
Yeah, it's so painful. And that's why, like, Paz, who's a card... But, like, Paz, who was a card, says, please, no more, I can't keep doing this. Because he would keep dying, only to be resurrected to die again.
If I remember right, Carl said, like, every time one came out of him, like, it took a little bit of his health away. Like, not a lot at first. It's like the more and more it happened, the stronger they were, the more damage he took.
Darren's saying he's planning ahead for the next floor. Black Belt, he's saying he's preparing for the faction wars. He's been preparing for the faction wars for several floors. He's making a slug army and has tons of loot and weapons in his inventory. Carl is ready to fuck shit up on the 9th floor. Well said, Nick.
I think it's a case of, like, the show Andor, the speech where he's like, I'm damned because I am forced to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. Carl's playing within the rules he's given, and this is the loophole. He's like, hey, these guys will die but regenerate. Okay, I'm going to kill them over and over again to build an army.
Yeah. I mean, I respect it. It goes against what he's trying to do, like, to save the NPCs. He's hurting the NPCs, but the bigger picture, I get it.
But it did also work for him because at the end, it's like, okay, we need to sacrifice a crap ton of souls to get rid of all these demons. And it's like, well, the slugs are considered souls, so let's use them.
Mm-hmm. Billy Sunrider says Sluggerlows is like Juggalos. I know a few people didn't catch that. I was one of them.
I just mentioned quickly about the sacrificing NPCs. He's kind of going back and forth with that because Carl he had the one thing in the Iron Tangle where he had to constantly murder that one NPC just to get parts. And he said in the past that, like, the NPCs should die essentially. Like, he's in mind, like, they're better off dead than alive. But the problem is he doesn't know which NPCs are actually true NPCs or some of them are former callers. So there's that whole blurry line thing. So that's what concerns me, I think. But if they're just actual NPCs, I think he's fine with them dying and thinks it's actually good.
Yeah, everyone's saying he didn't know this until Astrid. KPW, you've been saying that. That was a huge pivotal moment where Astrid's, like, kind of talking, breaking the fourth wall, so to speak, breaking character to talk about her real life scenario. And they're given these NPC roles, but there's other shit that's happening. So yeah, that's important as well. I don't know. It just kind of seems a bit weird. But I will say that when we discover that, why can't I think of her name? Butterfly. What is her name?
Astrid.
No. Healer. Amari. Well, what's her name?
Amari.
Amari?
Oh, Imani.
When Imani's like, yeah, I can cure that. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I'm a healer. That's literally what I do. And he's like, oh. So having Imani as a healer, I think, so important. I mean, hell, when I'm playing Overwatch and when I'm playing Marvel Rivals, I play a healer. You think my team gives a single shit about me? Not at all. Am I the most crucial player to keep everyone alive and boosted? Absolutely. Imani is like the number one person who should stay alive in this team. And I love the fact that Carl made sure he was bending over backwards to get her to the next level because she is so important. And I think we're going to feel more and more where she's like, I can buff you. I can make you stronger. I can heal you. I can make sure that your debuffs are removed. Like, I can do all of these things. Katia is experiencing withdrawal symptoms. I'm helping her manage that. She is so crucial in this. Hold on. What do you think the look in Sharp Elbow's eyes meant as she died? Go on, Jay Buntrock. What do you mean by that?
During the second to last card, when Sharp Elbows impels herself onto Carl and he managed to pull her off.
Yeah, he recognizes her eyes.
Yeah, she has a specific look in her eyes that he ponders on it for a while because it haunted him.
Who is it?
It's more than that. Carl says or thinks, I know those eyes. I recognize those eyes. But we don't know who it is.
Who do you think it is?
I don't have a guess. I was just wondering what everyone else thought.
So who else has been in Carl's
relative of
real
his?
life? Or who has been a
misinterpreted, 'cause
crawler?
My impression was like he's recognizing it the same like with Astra, where it's like they're having like an awakened moment, or like they're dropping character or something like that, like Astra did just before she died.
Oh, so you think
No, he recognized her actual eyes. He recognized a look in her eyes. Why don't I have Matt Dinneman's number?
But yeah, maybe like Aaron's just thinks like maybe it's possible that that type of look is like the whole like, you know, it's a former caller essentially kind of vibes. Oh, like the person saying, "Oh, I'm actually gonna die. And this sucks."
You think it's his
crawler, or like Astra, where it's like you're just a regular person who's like indentured into this thing.
K. Frito says, was it his mother? Nah.
Yeah.
Ain't no way it's a throwaway like that. Occult still said they kept mentioning Ellie's 4 elements progress. That might be important too. Love it. Black Belt says it could be a recycled NPC from a previous floor, or maybe even a crawler who died. Let's go back through some of the other NPCs that we've seen. We've seen those 2 kind of, maybe it was a Krakaran. Maybe it was, the two goblins from the first level who like had planned what they were going to do to progress through the floors. Maggie Mai, says KP Dubs. Just keep throwing out names.
They do reference Krakaran in this book, don't they? So it could be they're recycling these same boss battle people.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was the Spanish woman who was like, "Please kill me. I'm a rubbish boss." The Hoarder. Thank you. Yeah, it could be the Hoarder because she had a very clear look in her eyes during that whole thing.
Well, I also remember like when the AI is like having this big giant thing just before the boss fight with our like brother and stepmom and all that basically whole end fight kind of thing.
The Hydra, yeah.
The AI is basically like just going off of this giant explanation about like how it all works with like recycling people and body masses and stuff like that, and like how you can just tweak DNA just a little bit. So it's like I can make it look like somebody you know without actually being somebody you know.
Yeah.
And it's like basically the big clue is like don't worry, this isn't actually your mom, your stepmom and brother.
Yeah, you almost have to focus on the tells of how it's not them instead of sinking into it being them.
Which I really like how Jeff Hayes does in the audiobook, where he kind of changes the tone of the AI, where it's like, I'm being a little serious and I'm just being a little like confessional right now with people, or maybe I'm just like speaking my own thoughts out loud, and because people are listening now and I can, like, I don't know.
What was really interesting though, it's like that reminder where no one's safe. So when you look at sort of like Katya or Louis or other people, like Louis had to face his mum, things like that. And it's like having to kill a family member that when you're at this stage in the crawl, you want your mum more than anything, you know, like you want family, you want that level of support. So while you're at beyond rock bottom, where you've been in survival mode for over a month straight, trying not to die, only being given 2 minutes of sleep, and your mum shows up and she's like just an engorged sort of like destructive, warped version of what she should be, that would be debilitating to face. Not only that, but Carl in this moment, and we can talk about this part of the book because it's full on. Carl goes down memory lane. It's his house. Donut recognizes that what's probably going to happen because she's discovered what's going on with the dad, and she tries to distract him. She tries to say, you know what, Carl, I've got this one. We spoke about it in the Fable where it was a really pivotal moment because I did think the first third of the book Donut was a bit of a brat, and she really shone here. She really was just like, no, let's just go on. You know what, I'll just take care of this. I'll just get the card. Like, leave it to me. It's all good. And he's like, what is she doing? And she was just a bit worked up. And we're realizing Donut was such a hero in that moment, says KP Dubs. Yeah, she'd figured out the fact that the showdown would be with his father and how difficult that's been because Carl was put on the spot during Rosetta's show where we, even the audience, found out just the severity of his childhood and how traumatic it was. Yes, Aaron.
Remind me, I forget, did they like make it look like it was going to be his dad who was going to be part of the boss, and the AI switches it around.
So they didn't have access to him because he did actually die. He was already dead, so he couldn't be sort of like harvested and used. But that was the point. The whole point of this was he didn't know his dad had remarried, had a child. He has a stepbrother, Asher, and didn't know that the stepmother killed him. She killed him. So this is twice now.
You've been like with two women who both wanted to murder you, and the only difference is like my mom failed.
They both tried to poison him specifically. And that's what Donut says. How bad do you have to be that every woman you marry tries to poison you to death? Full on. The Asher part was really rough, says EG. KP says Asher was crushing. Tiwin said the conversation after the Hydra fight, I'd have a skull next to my name if I got my hands on B. Oh my God. B, this is the thing. So they have extensively gone through what's essentially like the Carl file. They found out who his parents are. They found out where the dad went. He had no understanding. He didn't know any of this. They also have all the access to what B was like. And Donut knew this and didn't really say anything. Oh, didn't you know about your brother? Yeah, B knew about your brother. B also got that woman at your work fired because B didn't like how you guys were talking because she's a single mum. And Carl's like, oh my God, she was a single mother and had to support her child. She was just being nice. So B felt threatened and got her fired. Thierry says B was a capital B. I cried a little when Carl was going through Ash's treasures, says Toaster Poster. Yeah, the fact that he wanted to hold on to them as a keepsake as well. Carl mentions he has never been angry with B until he found out that she kept Ash's secret. Now, it's still not obvious why B kept this a secret, but essentially, because it's Facebook and Carl was never on Facebook, and B was sneaking into Carl's Facebook page, had his login and would log in to check his messages, stalker psycho. The stepmother had reached out to Carl and wanted to connect. Hi, you don't know me. I've married your father. We have a son, Asher. I would love for you to meet. This is your brother. I would love to meet. And B was talking as if it was Carl. Ugh, gross, so deceptive. And made sure that they wouldn't connect. Now, how is B so threatened? We obviously got that she's threatened by any woman being in the same vicinity as Carl, even though she treated him like shit. Can we just call it now narcissistic personality disorder? Clearly. But the fact that she didn't even want Carl to travel a few hours away to have that time with his brother. She controlled all of that too. Icky, we hate it. Aaron, you've got thoughts.
Also, the fact that the system, AI, or whoever, showrunners forced them to be, where was it, in Ohio or something like that, wherever it was supposed to be, where it's they Donut picks Florida, and somehow the environments are merging together with Iowa. That's what it was, yeah.
That was Robin.
Merging them all together. Because it's they were trying, we want you here. And it's why aren't you here? So we're just going to force all this stuff together.
Yeah, they don't even know.
Climb a mountain or a hill or something like that just to get to the.
Well, it was copy paste. It was cut and paste all throughout here. So things that were supposed to be in snow, whether the Turkey Showdown, that was in the heat, and so the heaters were making everything incredibly hot. It was schlepped together really terribly. Colleen says Donut didn't know that Asher was Carl's brother. No, but she recognized the picture of him. Oh my God, I recognize him. Because the stepmother sent a photo. Yes, I know about that. Kate is having a real field day with B, saying she's clearly manipulative. Tilwyn is saying that it was B's mum teaching her how to be controlling, and we kind of got that through the Hydra head of B's mum as well. We got a bit of a hands-on moment there. And then Kate says the same with Donut. She was going to give Donut away because she was too old for the shows. So she saw Carl and Donut as accessories to herself. And of course, if it no longer serves, then you just discard.
What's the name of the, there was Alpha Carl, and then there was the other better version of Donut or something like that. It was her
other. The replacement. Yeah, it was going to be Croissant, King Croissant.
King Croissant, little kitten. Yeah.
And that was going. Yeah, you're right. Going to be the replacement. Oh, hello, Baxorn. I haven't seen that name in a hot minute too. How are you? She thought that he was B's nephew. There you go. Yeah, had that completely confused, and that's how that memory triggered. Tuin says, I wonder if we're going to see B again. I would say most likely. But what was done so brilliantly in the part where they reconnected was that they gave her no power. They just diminished all of the hype or fragility or emotion behind it. And they just dismissed and almost like disassociated sort of that connection. And disinterest is going to tank a reality show the fastest. Disinterest is something that, yeah, I think that was that was their approach for it, and I think it was really well done. KP Dub says they were like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Nice. B is out in the universe. She's probably watching all of this now. I hope she's crying every day. J Bunt Rook says, I hope she shows up in the dungeon as a honeybee. A lot of other things happened. This is another thing that I want to dive into. Someone on Reddit says, so at this point in the story, we're at book 6. Oh, hello, Femerald. Lovely. Thanks for the follow. Oh my God, I used to watch SourceFed just randomly. Came across your stream looking for book content. Welcome. I do a book club. It's a sci-fi fantasy online book club. We have a Fable, which is a really fun free book club app where the books that we're covering, you can have a chapter breakdown. So once you finish the chapter, you can jump on Fable and talk about it. So there's no spoilers and we can still talk about it as a community. We also have a discord.gg/Maude Garrett, and in there is a lot of book channels to talk about what you're currently reading, what you're recommending, what your book count is if you're heading towards your goals. There's a fucking sports channel. There's a bunch of things in there. Join it. A lot of fun things. But at this stage, we love the series Dungeon Crawler Carl so much. We're up to book 6. So we're going full spoilers here. If you don't know the book, then this isn't going to make much sense to you. But join us for our next books. Glurp, glurp, says Occult Stool. We do book clubs and panic is a quote from Nightbot. And we don't do pants around here. Well, I'm doing shorts right now, so there you go. All right, the things that we currently know at the end of book 6, let's talk through some of these to see if we're on the same page. The primals went extinct, but their technology was found and led to the current galaxy. Did anyone get that? Primals are actually a race. Bubba the Musk.
Explained like primal earlier, but yeah, this is like when we're trying to find out, oh yeah, they seeded all the worlds, and then wherever the current civilization is, like, oh yeah, we accidentally woke up all of the AIs that were inside these planets.
Carl's game race is primal.
Sure is.
They always say that they're all like, we don't really know what a primal is, so we're just gonna.
It looks like a person.
Exactly. So they don't really know what primals actually are.
So this is something that I've been like turning over my head ever since I read this book. I think that the primals and the AIs are like deeply linked to each other. Like either the AIs are the next step of the primal race, something like that.
I've got a tidbit on that, which I think we could have pieced together at this stage. Bubba the Musk says, by the way, hey Maude, just want to say hi. Hope you're doing well. Lots of love from New Zealand. Brew. So now I have to say it in a Kiwi accent. Hey Maude, kia ora. Just want to say hi. Hope you're doing well. Lots of love from New Zealand, bruh. I had to. I'm not even sure we're nemesis at this stage. That's the thing that's happening with like Australia and New Zealand. I love Kiwis. Love Kiwis.
Isn't your best friend a Kiwi?
Yeah. Your accent's tweaked. Carl is primal, says Darren. Absolutely. Primals are evolved AI, says Billy Sunrider. The primals are the AIs, says KP Dubs. Billy Sunrider said it would explain Carl's connection to the AI. Yeah, when Carl was presented with races, the primal was stacked. The primal was kind of pushed to a point where it's like, well, why wouldn't you take that? Why? I mean, primal. I always thought it was like primal being sort of like a primate, like almost like a Neanderthal almost version of Carl, but that's not it at all. Primals remind me of the Protheans from Mass Effect. Oh yeah, I see that. Primal Rage, like a video game. Primal is more like primordial, says Occult Stool. So the primals were a race. The galaxy is very vast. There's a lot of different races as we've discovered. There's a lot of aliens. Technically, the primals, to avoid eradication, uploaded their consciousness to AI. And that's how they survived. So AI are primals and primals are AI, but that's why these AIs will go primal, where it kind of like exceeds the AI version and then I guess primal takes over. Don't know. Didn't they mention in this book that they knew that the AI was faulty and they installed it anyway? Yeah, they cut costs. It was a secondhand AI. What's the race? Starts with K. Fishy brains.
Oh,
Kuatine. Kuatine. That's it. The Kuatines. Yeah, they basically wanted to cut costs because they just had the transfer of power, right? This was the first crawl that they were running, and they wanted to make it great. The Kuatine. Yes. Prime AI, the progenitors were golds. There you go. We are doing the same next week. Upload hype. I have to think that his primal race will be a large part of the end game. I love that as well because this is something from the start. No one knew, no one asked questions, and for this to be like a key piece to it all, I actually love that. Okay, number 2. The primals went extinct, but their technology was found and led them to the current galaxy. It also caused an explosion of life due to the primal seeds, and the mantises use a primal AI factory to upgrade the seeds in order to make the enhancement fields and run the crawl. This is going over my head. I'm just reading what I saw on Reddit, okay? These macro AI eventually reject the showrunners who have to barter with them. It's mentioned in the epilogue with the cookbook, like, was it Rosetta even says this? Once the AI goes primal, the only thing that you have on them is to negotiate. So once the AI has gone rogue, once the AI is just like not following the showrunners and they're ahead of schedule with going primal, all you have is room to negotiate. And that's what she was saying. She's like, is Carl even smart or is he just lucky? And it's like, no, he's no smarter or dumber than any of us. He just has incredible ability to make lightning quick decisions. Now, there is talk on Reddit if his wisdom stats have been bumped. And that's how he has this ability to make really lightning fast decisions in this manner. And that's what sets him apart, because it is. He has the answers. He can weigh it up and execute sort of like the best situation to go into. He's kind of like Doctor Strange, where he's like, I went through 6 million versions of this, and this is the only one that's going to work. That's kind of what Carl's working with at the moment. Carl's crisis management is top notch, says Jay Buntrock. T-Win, but wisdom isn't a stat anymore. It's a hidden stat, says EG. K. Frito says it's a secret stat. KP says, yeah, that's what they want you to think. Toaster Poster says, called it. Maiden says, as a primal, Carl can use skills in general over level 15. Other crawlers can only do it with certain abilities. We saw a level 16 spell get used in this book by Ellie. And she created, like, what would you even call it? What's a maelstrom? Maelstrom is a word that just came to my head. Is that what it was, or am I making this word up?
Maelstrom's a word. Back a tornado or hurricane kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, a big storm. A big storm. Yeah, this shit fucked up like so many demons and zombies and everything in there. I'm sorry I keep swearing.
One of the things that's interesting about it, especially with like, she didn't have a spell at about 15. She had it at 5, but because it was a war spell, Samantha buffed it. She didn't even realize she was doing it, and she started talking to herself afterwards. Clearly confused as to what was going on. She buffed it 16 though.
All right, so let's get on to Samantha next, because that's a whole other deep dive into the subreddit. Let's get through this first. There's macro AIs. The macro AIs eventually reject the showrunners who have to barter with them. There is a fear that the macro AI could infect the central system by corrupting the main AI that basically makes people immortal in the central system and can take down the galaxy. So now the AI can like Terminator everyone. The residuals are a hive mind race that try to interact with the macro AIs to make them be able to talk to their ancestors. I told you this was a rabbit hole. The apothecary may be primal. And to kill a macro AI, you basically have to shoot it into a star. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Or blow up the star.
So let's talk about Samantha, who Matt Dinnerman has said is one of his favorite characters. And you can tell she's having so much fun in this book. Kill your mother. There's theories about who Samantha is, what's really going on, why she's leveling up so much. She's now taken my top spot for favorite character, says Robin. Samantha's fantastic. She's still a sex doll head exclusively. Yoo-hoo, says E.G. Mitchell. Love that. I kill your mother. She has taken on and summoned even like lesser deities or demigods. There was Slit and Minge. So she's obviously got this like long withstanding list of enemies that want to kill her. And she's just the most antagonistic person ever. At the start of the levels, she can't levitate. She can only roll. She can't really do anything. The longer the level and the floor goes on, the stronger Samantha gets when Carl tries to address it with her head on, pun intended. She changes the topic, won't discuss it, doesn't really understand it. And then when he finally asked her again, she like burst into tears. She doesn't really know what's going on. But she's now at the end of the level able to fly, able to teleport mass amounts of people. The power that she's inhibiting is like exponential. She has almost abandonment issues and needs reassurance from Carl that she's a part of the team. When she stays on track, like it's great, but she's so chaotic. What do you think Samantha is? What do we know about Samantha? Who has theories? Aaron.
Just the way you're describing stuff and seeing my recollection of like Carl was like saying is like if you like believe in her or if you have like the failed love or something like that, she starts to like gain power.
Unrequited love.
Yeah, unrequited love. I'm wondering if she's like maybe growing into being a potential god or deity. And I'm wondering like my theory now is like later on, would she become a god that Carl would worship? Or maybe Donut would worship or something like that since he's already...
Yeah, Donut doesn't worship anyone. He's got Empress, who's taken even a higher cut of the money at the moment.
They say that there's a rule where you can like worship multiple gods, or it's like once you're locked in with one god, you can't worship
I thought it was
else.
one and done. I had thought it was one and done. I think you can interact with other gods and deities, but like once the worship happens... Tywin says she might end up in the Ascendancy Wars. There's a lot about speculation around what that is because faction wars are a really big thing right now. Manaholic says, I'm so glad I didn't miss this. It's 4 a.m. my time. Where are you, long time listening, first time calling in from? Where in the world are you? Keep It Up says, also, whenever Carl says, we need you, you're important, she suddenly gets more powerful too. There's a lot happening there. Toast Post says, out of all the gross stuff in this book, nussy is a word I wish I could unhear. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. If you don't know, it's a neck and a ussy. It's an us. I'm getting that wrong, aren't I? I was trying to be so just naive and say nussy.
Apparently it can dissolve your flesh if you're not careful.
It's got acidic. Yes.
She killed that one guy. He's like, this is my new boyfriend. Well, he's dead. Aw.
Yeah.
Rip Charles.
Yeah, poor Charles. Carl needs Empress since he got burnt and blown up so much. Carl has to kill a bunch of gods for Empress, maybe just one, says Bartleby Prime. You're in Lithuania. That's amazing. I'm guessing you're a Dungeon Crawler Carl fan. Let's go. I have the passage The Samantha says after she unwittingly buffs Elle's spell. Let's go. Oh, you got the reading glasses on? KP Dubs. Now, can you do it in Samantha's accent is all I ask.
No, because I only read physical books, no audio. So I have no idea what she sounds like.
Yes, that's not true. Can someone play this out? I got you. Hold on. Well, just for inspiration.
I'm going to kill your mother.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill your mother.
Wait. Why can't I find it?
Edna Maude from Incredibles.
I'm going to kill your mother.
Yeah, it's right in front of me. It's right in front of me. Yeah. I'm going to kill your mother.
So basically, it's right after, like, Elle's like, what the hell? How did that spell cast? So then we get in and it says, for the first time, perhaps ever, Samantha looked equally confused and concerned. She was mumbling to herself, spinning in circles. Then in quotes, Elle is part earth, part water mage, she said, floating past, talking to herself as she continued to rotate. She's on the Four Seasons path. How did that happen? I'm stronger too. I didn't do that. It's the tree, I think. Or maybe it's all there. He's opening a path through the river, the water, and the tree, the earth. It's good she's not fire yet, but maybe the prince's spell enhanced her. No, gotta kill her. No, not Elle, her mother. No, not her mother. She shook her head like a dog. She turned to me. What just happened, Carl? Did you roofie me again?
Okay, so Ellie Gibbs is a frost earth maiden at the moment, and she is going to undergo. She's done frost, so she's done ice, which is technically water, earth, ground. So then there's what, fire and wind left if we're using Avatar as like a scope on the 4 elements.
Yeah.
No, academic. What do you think that they are?
No, I think you're right. It's just that I'm surprised. Well, I guess it makes sense to go with Avatar instead of Earth, Fire, and Wind, but that's that's whatever. The music band.
All right. What about Fifth Element?
Go Captain Planet.
Oh, Fifth Element, Captain Planet. Yeah, all these are good.
Heart. So there's something going on with Ellie Gibbs and her path. So I think everyone has like a deep-seated sort of like path that they must take through all of this. I'm so excited to learn what hers are. Once she undergoes all control of the elements, does that mean she's now Samantha's nemesis? Because Samantha's saying she needs to kill her? No, not her. Her mother? What's your take on that, KP Dubs?
I just think that there's something else with Samantha. Like, her memories are not complete. Like, whatever her storyline with, like, she's trying to get back with her king, and she's got all these jealous, like, other girlfriends that she's been fighting against and stuff like that. I don't think that's all of it. I think she's got bits and pieces of something else in her head. And for just a second, some of that popped up. She remembered something that she didn't remember before, and then it was gone in just like a snap. And she's back to herself. Whether she was so surprised she dropped her character for a second, or it was unintentional, I don't know.
It seemed unintentional. It seemed like she was getting, because she's like, whoa, what's happening? She wasn't aware of it. Tywin says, no one has ever completed a 4-season path before. If Ellie can survive to the 12th floor, she'd be the first. Is Ellie Gibbs the long-lost Avatar master of all 4 elements? That's what we're wondering. Honestly, we're actually, the Game On tier of Patreon, we're doing a Dungeon Crawler Carl one-shot. If I were to play in that, I would totally be Ellie's character and like want to master the 4 elements. I think that's so cool. Being a Frost Maiden, are you kidding me? Colleen says, isn't part of Macbeth's witches chants the fire, water, earth, and air? Yeah, I think that's about right. And then Jimmy's bringing up the Bedlam Bride. Never stare into the blinding eye of the Bedlam Bride. What it means is don't become obsessed with something lest you're blinded to everything else. And it doesn't affect Carl because he already is. He's already obsessed with it. I can't believe I'm going to allow these. But Manaholic says, I'm going to scream if it turns out that Sam's memory is all foggy because the sex doll was full of stuff before turning into a sentient being. Getting spunked-brained is my mum's favorite phrase from when she was young. Yeah, I mean, in this world, that's likely. I love elemental-based characters so much, but I'm taking a different path for this one shot. I literally played a character called Ella Mental. Like, hell yeah. I love that shit too. That's so good.
She was so awesome.
Titan. Yeah. All right, so I'm on the Wikipedia page for Samantha. It's going to contain unmarked spoilers for book 4, so we're good. So Samantha, with a silent P, better known as Samantha, is a banished lesser deity and a withering spirit. She joins the Princess Court of the Royal Court of Princess Donut on the 5th floor. The AI description. The tooltip initially describes Samantha as a decapitated-like sex doll head after it pops out of Carl's inventory after he pokes her teeth. The description updates. Leica Love Doll Head. This item is possessed with the withering spirit of Samantha. Samantha, or Samantha, as her friends used to call her, ooh, the shade on that, is a minor deity who was banished to the nothing by her father after he found out she was kicking around with some ancient king guy. She's usually accompanied by her trusty sidekick, a sand ooze familiar, who also happens to be the cursed child of her union with the king. You know, typical god stuff. And if you think that's peculiar, you ain't seen nothing yet. Those guys hanging out in the halls of the Celestial Ascendancy on the 12th floor get themselves involved in some serious wackadoodle business, let me tell you. You ever see a guy give birth to a fortune-telling snake-headed cow out of his thigh, or a woman whose menstrual blood is sentient? That's the sort of shit that's waiting for you down there. Samantha is as intelligent as she is quick-tempered. Unfortunately for her, her first escape attempt from the nothing resulted in a split, and half of her essence was forced to take refuge in the unoccupied Naiad vessel that she could find, unoccupied Naiad vessel that she could find, which happened to be a sex doll based on the fictional Leica, who, oddly enough, was actually based loosely on an inaccurate history of Samantha. She had to live in the doll for many years, unable to move until the rest of her spirit could be reunited. And then the story kind of gets weird from there. Samantha claims to be the minor deity of unrequited love. She plans to find a body, retrieve Mrs. Ghazi from the 9th floor, and then join King Blaine on the 12th floor. Yeah. Emberus is her great uncle and cousin. Serena Signet is her third cousin, twice removed by marriage. Mrs. Ghazi is her daughter. And a tapestry of her grandfather hung in the Fort Freedom before the Naiad Revolution. So there's a lot of backstory here. What do we think's happening? What's your Samantha saga? Yes, KP Dubs.
Okay, so I just had a really crazy idea.
Yeah.
In that moment there that I just read, he's like, I need to kill your mother. And then she's like, no, I need to kill her mother or something like that. What if somehow she's involved with Emberance's son being killed?
It was Samantha all along?
Or Samantha knows who did it, and maybe he needs to kill someone's mother because that mother is the person. Maybe it's a pedo or whatever that other god is.
Maybe because her whole like spirit becoming a withering spirit and stuff like that diminished her memory and what she knows until she gets her body back, something like that.
I wonder if maybe she'll ultimately somehow solve that case for Carl, and Emberance will give her powers back or something. I don't know. But
now, because the same person who's going to help her get her body back or like put into a body is also the same person that Shi-Maria also needs to see so that she could become real again.
You think it's going to take Shi-Maria's body?
No, I'm saying they both need to visit the same person. So it's like Carl's probably going to avoid that as much as he possibly can. Because, again, crazy spider lady is now inside his chest.
Yeah, let's talk about Shi-Maria. For those just joining, hi, Main Gal says, yeah, Maude Garrett, thanks for the follow. I'm doing a sci-fi fantasy book club on Twitch. We split main books up into part 1 and part 2. We are doing part 2, which means we're going full spoilers. And it's Dungeon Crawler Carl, the series, and we're up to book 6, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride, because this series is so freaking good. Mangel says, do you do manga reviews? Nah, sci-fi fantasy, long books, long series. You know how them sci-fis and fantasies go. Why stop at 1 when you can do 9? The Fleshman said they are looking for might help she and Sam. Bartleby Prime says, somehow being related to Serena Signet and always threatening to kill mothers makes me wonder if she's the true vengeance of the daughter lead. Manaholic says, what if it was one of the faction war people from the previous seasons that bought in to be a god and is one of the super rich Galaxy Syndicate people? EG is saying the same mage who was potentially dead. Manaholic says, and Empress's son was killed by a god, but a god controlled like a puppet. Oh, the theories are coming in. I'm going back to my notes of my Reddit deep dive. Since the AI and Carl are both primals, does the river in Carl's mind... Oh, this is your question, Vaden. Does the river in Carl's mind exist to some extent in the AIs? Conversely, will Carl eventually gain powers similar to the AI? Talk me through that.
Oh, yeah. So basically, like, we always talk about how, like he's primal and then the AI is going primal. So I'm like, obviously there has to be some kind of connection there besides them knowing each other or they're being basically them talking a lot to each other. Like the AI has a lot of personal messages just for him, like a lot. And so I don't know how much of that is related to his race or just him in general, but I feel like he needs a lot of power to get out of this. He needs a lot of power to do things to resolve the situation he's in. And like, I feel like one of the ways to do that is either Samantha becomes a god, like, and it did the ascendancy thing, or perhaps like he becomes AI to some degree, or he gains the powers of the AI, so he can affect the system in ways that he couldn't normally. Because he's still right now he's kind of the thumb of the AI, right?
Yeah.
Like he can't. There's a lot of things he can't do, and a lot of things he's in it. He's kind of at the whim of the AI having fun, have a good time. So I feel like at some point he may start getting powers of the AI, because the powers he has now of getting because powers he gets as a primal are kind of not that strong, and they haven't been good for like as far as we know yet. But I don't know if I feel like that's like a hidden ability that's going to come up.
There's something. I mean, the fact that the AI approached him as an NPC, I reckon that shouldn't have happened. I think that there was a blind spot that was created for the AI to converse with Carl, and I don't think that was publicly broadcast at all. I think that AI can create these blind spots to have these conversations. Now, the AI, depending on whether he likes Carl that day or not, is either helping him, and it's mentioned, Rosetta said that this specific AI really loves sort of like, what is it? What do they call it? Like showness, like
showmanship.
Showmanship. Carl's bringing the drama and bringing the views. And so obviously the AI doesn't want to kill Carl because those numbers are spiked because of him. Can the AI give Carl abilities? I actually think an external force is trying to give Carl these abilities through what I believe could be the coffee, through these subliminal upgrades. But then the AI seems to be favoring Carl as well, and has from the get-go, by making him choose primal as a race, by being obsessed with his feet.
Yeah,
by planting Samantha in his party through a loophole that's not breaking any rules, but Samantha is technically an NPC in his party. Who else has anything like that? Donut's got a manager with Mordecai. Carl has the cookbook. He has way more information than any other crawler in this game. Who's responsible for that, though? How is the cookbook getting to Carl? Is it the AI, or is it an external force working with the AI, or through loopholes that the AI can't see? That's what we don't really know yet. Aaron, you've had your hand up.
Well, to go back with what Vane was talking about with the
river
idea of what the river is, yeah. I think Carl said it in this book where it's like it represents loneliness for him. Like, more lonely he gets, the louder the river happens, or when he thinks he's going to be losing people, it's like just getting louder and louder and louder. And it's like, somebody also mentioned, it's also brings him back to like when he found his mother.
I don't know if it's loneliness. I think it's feeling like you are under the boot of society. And in this instance, it's blown up to the nth degree because he's literally being put through this whole thing for the sake of entertainment.
Right. I don't think it's basically like part of like, some that's tied with the crawl itself. I think it's just a way of like describing his mental state.
Yeah. Yeah, he's about to fucking lose it.
Because I think even Louis is like, remarkable, like, when Carl's like saying it's like, but it's not Christmas or something like that. I don't know why we're doing this stupid party and stuff like that. And Louis just snaps on him. It's like, okay, we need it for ourselves, okay, dude, basically. And it's saying it's like, you look like you're going crazy and you're about to kill everybody all the time, and it's scaring the crap out of us. And it's like, he's not realizing just how messed up looking
he's losing himself.
Exactly. That's why I say it's like, it's loneliness, it's his deteriorating mental state. It's also just the fact that he's about to snap because he doesn't have time to rest, breathe.
The Bedlam Bride is Carl's River. Going back to, Jimmy, your quote that you'd put up before, where it's like, if you're going to look into the eye, you're going to completely lose yourself because you're going to have an obsession so strong that you're blind to everything else. And the fucking Shi-Maria looks at Carl with the eye and she's like, I can't even affect you because your obsession is already blinding you. That's the river. That's the river.
Even some of the gods at the beginning when like they're with Sister Inez and all that stuff, and like they're trying to like restore someone, like one of those gods' altars or something like that.
Yep.
And like they're all talking to him, and like one of them even comments like, "Oh, I know what that river is. It's not what you think. It's like this, this god is also like you," or something like that. It's like they're like all recognizing like you're losing it, buddy.
Who is that voice? That I think I also had in here. How are we going for time? We got 30 minutes. Great. Okay, so other questions that I want to talk about in a really lighthearted way. Who's your favorite totem? Out of all the totems that we've been introduced to, who was your favorite? They kind of evolved a little bit over the time. Like the donkey head fused and Lazarus had fused with Uzi Jesus. Shi-Maria killed Alpha Carl, knowing that Carl is technically considered Donut's minion. And that's how Shi-Maria fused with Carl. That's how that tattoo fusion took place. Raul is a good one, says Jimmy. Alpha Carl is just Kronk, so I love him, says Robin. Uzi Jesus, just by how ridiculous, says Aaron. Chef's kiss.
Alpha Carl being nice to him when he's like trying to get that crab guy to help.
Alpha Carl, when being summoned in Carl's party, being so sweet and supportive. Yeah, it's like nice Deadpool, whatever that one is, Canadian Deadpool.
That just turns into Joe Swanson when he's like just yelling at him. It's like, yes, that's working. It's
I know, but then like the AI humiliated him by saying, Carl helped jerk off the crabs. That's not what happened, man. That's not what happened at all. No, Alpha Carl was yelling at Raul under pressure, and apparently it is working, says Raul. When Uzi Jesus Gold Edition says, "Dad, damn it," that's when I lost it. Beta Carl was not amused. Manaholic says one of the scary moments was when Donut says to Carl, "You're scaring me." That's when you know stuff's going wild. I will not kowtow. What is that one, Academic? Thanks for Prime. I will not kowtow.
I will not kowtow. I will not kowtow. I will not. Yeah, Raul.
Oh, kowtow. What's kowtow?
It's just a word that means like bow down or submit to something.
Colleen's showing me. Thank you, Colleen. Yeah. Lazarus, where he says, "Here's your salvation, motherfucker." I'll just say Skylar Spinach because I love the name. Skylar Spinach, yes. I really liked the Yule Cat, especially the way it was brought to life in the audiobook. They're like, why isn't the Syndicate like speech taking over? What is this? What is he, like Slovakian or Icelandic cat? Just like muttering things?
And almost murdered Carl because he took Quan Chi's cloak.
Yeah, wants to eat the clothing. Carl's like, I need these items. And he's like, no. Academic says the Yule Cat was nightmare fuel. I loved it. It reminded me so much of like a Miyazaki film. I saw him as a Miyazaki cat.
The cat bus.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. It's so cool. Why don't they ever clockwork triplicate Carl? Okay, this was in the subreddit. Because they said because we also found out that, is it the apothecary or the pacifist union made sure that Carl had the key? So here's another theory. What is this key supposed to open? Was it the level of this dungeon? Was it to get to the next level? What is this key? Because he never used the patch. What is this one-time use key that needs to be done? What is it going to maybe open later. Why didn't they clockwork triplicate Carl? So someone in the subreddit said, can they clockwork triplicate Carl, who's considered a minion of Donut? And who was it? The AI Shi-Maria brought that up, saying that's really important information. You're a minion. That's important to know. So that was like drawn upon again. Someone was saying if you clockwork triplicate Carl, can he then use 3 keys? And someone said no. If you'd seen it before, when Mongo was clockwork triplicate and killed, it had like cogs in it, so that the triplicate versions of Carl wouldn't actually have bones in it. Why didn't they triplicate Alpha Carl? Oh, my Kindle has a nice translation feature if you highlight the text, says Darren. Can you let us know what this Yulcat was saying?
Was being mad that he was stealing clothes.
Oh, okay.
It was like specifically
What the language?
It was Icelandic.
Icelandic.
Oh. Why wouldn't it be translated then?
That's so cool.
The Kindle when you select text, you can save notes.
I mean, like in the actual story, it's like why wouldn't like the whatever they use to like translate all this stuff for them? Like why is
nothing's
Icelandic
an
not
accident.
translatable?
Nothing's
like
an
the
accident.
The Spanish lady wasn't translated. This isn't the first time. It's like picks and chooses when it's going to.
So is the Yulcat an actual previous crawler NPC? Because the Hoarder was.
Well, the Hoarder was never a crawler, right? She was just collected.
Oh, she was part of the Earth. Yeah, and then made into a boss.
Yeah.
By the collected biomass resource, basically.
Like Colleen mentioned, the Yulcat is actually Icelandic legend.
Lore. Yeah.
Yes. Manaholic says, still the chance to lose your skull instead of a pinky bone for a lockpick check is insane. Yes. Toastpost says, yep, Yulcat is a thing in Iceland. It eats kids if they don't wear their new clothes they got for Christmas. What the fuck? First there's Krampus because Santa's too fun. And now there's a cat that's going to eat kids if you don't wear your new... You know what? I don't hate this. I think that, we need to introduce kids to the light and shadow of things early. There's consequences,
D&D has the bag man.
There's actually, I believe, in Indonesian mythology, there is they have a lot of shrines, and you have to sort of offer to the shrines almost daily. And one of them, if you don't offer it, will eat your kids. It's a wild tangent story about that, but maybe I'll save it for the after show if I haven't told you guys already, because it's bonkers.
I'm at least glad that we didn't get the dungeon crawler version of a sort of like a Scottish Celtic monster called a Knuckleave. Like if you watched Ruby, it was basically like the Grim that was like the body on that was fused with a horse, something like that, with the giant long limbs. I don't know if you ever watched Ruby mod, but it's a messed up creature. Basically, if you took a man and fused it to the middle part of a horse, and the horse still has its head and it has this long limbs, it's nightmare fuel.
Shush. Stop it. You keep that inside. You stop putting that in the outside.
I'm just glad.
Stop it.
Dungeon crawler didn't have it.
I again preferred it when I didn't know it. Someone else is mentioning Manaholic. As long as I don't get the German Santa, I'm all good. If you know, you know. I don't want to know. I think I don't want to know. If someone wants to know all you like. Me, I'm opting out. That's fun.
No.
Anyway, if you haven't left your favorite totem in the comments, now's your chance. What were your thoughts about the story with Carl's father and brother? I think we kind of touched upon that, but if anyone else has another thought that we didn't get into, go for it. We talked about the super spreader to infect the strippers and infect Quan Shi. Does he infect Quan Shi with that? Yeah. He's dripping around with slugs coming out. Good. Someone on the subreddit says, but doesn't that mean that he still has the pox? Why isn't he ejecting progressively stronger worms? Was it tied to the ring that he got made, or did I miss something? Apparently, Carl has a debuff so that it no longer hurts or no longer affects him, but he still has the pox, no? Where are we with that? Colleen says yes. a debuff ring, and then Imani can cure him for good. Yeah, so he's been dropping slugs this whole time. Fun. I read the dad chapter, so I deprived myself of Patrick Warburton. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay Buntrock. It was really good. It was really well done. So you didn't think it'd get better, and it can. We had the subreddit. I've got a link in the doc for everyone to go directly to it. Who is speaking in this line? KP Dubs, you had many thoughts about this. When he's first meeting Shi-Maria, I believe, or when he's talking to Sister Inez, a voice goes into his head. Okay, I'm going to read this whole thing out. After they find the key and door will crumble in the Capitol building, this is chapter 59, Carl is thinking about options to himself. Most of his internal thoughts in this section are in regular text, but this paragraph is all italicized, and in the audiobook, it's spoken in a different, unfamiliar voice. The different voice has usually used in flashbacks to things other people have told Carl in the past, and normally he says who it is that has said that to him. The text that is in italics is, if you make this decision, be sure. Be sure it's your only option. This is more than just a fail-safe. It's the end of everything. If there's time to do something else, don't be so quick. You must be absolutely certain. We haven't seen a character tell him, and I can't figure out who has said this to him. At first, I thought it was the voice of Shi-Maria's husband, but he's got a Spanish accent, and this one is more of a standard American accent. Any thoughts? Before I go to the subreddit, I'm passing it off to the chat and to Discord. Who do you think this voice belongs to?
That particular voice, I'm wondering. I just keep talking about the coffee, and I don't know that it was the coffee, but I think something did happen in that cafe. I think there's more to the conversation than we heard. And that might be part of it. Because he goes there, and this person's talking about what these AIs really are. But I don't know about that.
He uses...
This is like the third or fourth time that an italicized section in the printed book was used. I don't know if everybody who reads the audio caught all those same things.
Manaholic says, isn't the cafe talk in book 7, not book 6? Book 6 is where they have the memories of the people on Earth, and a homeless person every single day at the cafe basically spiels out a monologue, and Carl finds it and receives the message, which has been totally like debunked. It's full of inaccuracies, but something else has happened in that moment. Toaster Poster says, is it Agatha's real voice? No. The voice that Jeff Hayes uses, I believe, is the same voice that Tippett uses in the epilogue. Who is Tippett? Tippett is a part of the Rosetta crew of previous authors of the cookbook that have now been enlisted into Tippett is cookbook edition 6th edition.
No, wait. No.
Tippett's a previous cookbook author. And he and Rosetta are talking from the garbage disposal ship, which is one of the biggest ships in the fleet, by the way. No one externally knows that the garbage ship, the waste management, they usually come in to clean up the level once the crawl is over. So everyone looking at this, I think it's like Princess Skull Empire.
Formidable.
She's like, she acknowledges, oh my gosh, even the waste management ship is here. Wow, that must mean that shit's going down. I thought they were too early. Maybe they're right on time. Tibbetty's Cookbook Edition 4, says KP Dubs. What is the name of the book introduced that was like an antiquated messaging system? Yeah, right? I want to get to that. Because that made no sense because they already have a messaging system in there.
Voodoo book or something like that?
Yeah, where you can contact particular crawlers, and if you don't say anything, you can leave a message.
What?
So
did we talk about Carl eating an eyeball? Did we talk about that?
Not yet. No. We will absolutely get to that though as well. Who is edition 2? Rosetta is edition 9. Milk is edition 6. Drecchio is 22. I can't remember all of them though. So essentially, Tippett is on this ship. What I didn't think makes sense when I heard it the second time is that he said he and Rosetta were the only living souls on the ship, but they're also harboring 50,000 ex-crawlers to bring into the faction wars under the Donut Posse faction. Guys, do you understand the weight of what's about to happen? The Donut Posse, Carl doesn't think he's got any help at all, and he's going up against entire factions. So he's doing everything he can to generate and build an army. And what they
it's like
50
well, it's like what 100,000 other people, and these are former crawlers who know this system.
These are ex-crawlers who have all survived the games. They've survived and opted out. So this is like Mordecai times 50,000. This is an army. Carl thought that he saved maybe 10,000 crawlers and not 30,000, plus all the NPCs, plus the crawlers. Nerda, first-time chatter, who's just followed, says, when I hear 50,000 people, I was so hyped for real. This changes so much. Manaholic says, y'all are hyping me more up for the rest of the 7th book even more. Yeah, let's go.
It's like the Hunger Games, where it's like you have all these former, survivors, but now it's like they're all working together against whatever the capital is deciding to throw at you. It's like I put my money on the survivors more than them because they know how to survive and win.
Cape It Up says the Princess Posse now has like 100,000 battle-hardened troops. Like, now let's all let's talk about what the faction wars are. The winner of the faction wars earn an ascendancy. That ascendancy gives them and secures them a place on the council. Carl or Donut could win the faction wars, gain ascendancy, and become a figure in the council. I think Donut and Carl are going to obliterate the council, and it's through, hopefully, winning these faction wars.
My money's on it being Donut who is the ascendancy because it's her.
It's her. She's the
group.
Princess Posse.
Yeah. Well, I think they're both co-owners of the team, aren't they? Because they both have like that stock ownership or whatever that got them the.
They're both in it. They're co-warlords. Yes, thank you, KP
Right.
Dubs. Co-warlords. Terry, you just finished book 7 today. Ugh, okay. KP Dubs says, okay, well, technically they made the NPCs their own faction. So there's 10 factions instead of 9, but we think the NPCs are friendly. Yes, because Carl technically set them free and got them a faction, and it's already Tippett and Rosetta are saying, yeah, we think we're working with the NPCs. So the NPCs are essentially an ally faction. But we've also heard glimpses of what the Skull Empire are like. They play fucking dirty. We have gotten excerpts in the cookbook of people who are going into the wars, in the faction wars. And wasn't one of them like a goat, like a Prepotente-esque character who was just like, they even said, like, I read his last entry. If you've got the cookbook, don't read it. Don't read it. Like, it is dire. Nick says, do we think the NPCs might turn on Carl because of how he treated the strippers? This is where consequences may come into effect here. Is it the greater good? Lisa? She's probably cooking. She's screaming it from her kitchen. The greater good!
The greater good.
Okay, this kind of also leads into Shi-Maria. Shi-Maria can take over Carl's body and make Carl do shit. Carl's now a puppet to Shi-Maria, who is an NPC. It was mentioned in the epilogue, an NPC character had to teach Carl how to steal powers, and we still don't think he understands. What does that mean? It means Shi-Maria has used the fluids of an eye, gotten Carl to ingest it, and whatever's tattooed onto him, a tattoo transferal, can transfer powers. Now, I don't know what power of is it Li Jun? Not Li Na, it's Li Jun. I don't know what powers Carl has absorbed, but Carl now, I believe, through Li Jun's eye, because Shi-Maria was taking over Carl's body in that moment, has absorbed a power. I believe we're going to find out later. I think we're going to find out later, but we've gotten proof in the epilogue of like, we are trying to hand deliver Carl this information and he's not grasping it. Is Carl even smart? I think Carl's going to figure this out. There is a lot of discourse in the subreddit, what Shi-Maria's role is going to be. Shi-Maria has made it very clear that she has her own agenda and she is going to be using Carl to get what she wants out of it. She is not working with Carl. She is using Carl. Carl is going to have to explain to his allies, who he's been helping this entire time, if you stay around me, I could do something to hurt you, and I'm not responsible for it, but I can do something. You're in danger if you're around me. What else is Shi-Maria going to do? Now, Shi-Maria was in this picture because Samantha found her and said that Shi-Maria will be able to help her get a body. Will Shi-Maria and Samantha form an allyship? Will Samantha be able to help Shi-Maria not kill or hurt Carl? Shi-Maria, I believe, could be a real one way or the other with Carl's endeavor. And I'm nervous about it. And I think it all involves around Shi-Maria and Samantha. Aaron, you've had your hand up.
Oh, I just had this realization. So Carl already has the Ring of Divine Suffering, which he gets to mark people.
Which he didn't use this whole book. He did not use it once. He had his chance to do it with Quan Chi.
Right, but also
Quan CH.
Like 4 and 9, he can do as many people as he wants to, if I remember right on that. But
once it levels up, yes.
Right, but he has the ring, which lets him get stat boost just by marking people for death. He is now at least given a glimpse of the possibility of hey, if you cannibalize something, you can absorb their powers if you do this weird little process ritual that Shi-Maria gave him,
which has also been previously mentioned in a cookbook excerpt.
Oh, right, so it's okay, Carl is basically being set up for this weird cannibalistic serial killer. If he's not careful.
Yeah. That sounds pretty freaking primal to me.
Death, and then I will eat you and absorb your power twice over. Get your stats and get a power.
I also think one of the characters is already doing that. Remember one of the other fighters? She had a heart in her hand and was consuming it. And Carl looks across and he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what is going on here? Because Lina and Li Jun, they were in an area that was a lot more congested. And so instead of 2 teams battling it out for 1 key, there were 42 different crawlers battling it out for 20 keys. And so Li Jun and Lina enlisted the help of all these people to help fight the deity. And so was it Samantha who traveled? No, they found Town Key. That's a Heroes of Might and Magic reference, where it's you have the town portal, where essentially you can portal people in through safe rooms. And so they were somewhere else completely different, but we were able to kind of upgrade the safe room to be able to transport en masse crawlers to particular areas. Pony has this ability too. He swallowed his Ring of Suffering, says Toaster Poster. What? So technically he could get Katya's powers if he eats a little cheek meat, says Manaholic. Maybe. Let's not forget that Katya has the choice that Katya has to do with the flower, says Terry. Yeah, essentially that. As a complete side note, says Tier, when I can't wait for Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Age. Magic Olden Age? What is this? Vaden, do we know about this? I want it. I want it. If it's the same, I want it.
Let me see. Oh, it's a new game on Steam, actually.
I want it. I want it. Okay, good to know. Pre-order on Steam. Thank you. I love my Heroes of Might and Magic.
Did we ever see Carl read that entry from the cookbook where that explains whether or not he gets a power from doing this? Because I don't remember this entry.
It was a previous crawler that had kind of talked about what their skill set was, what they'd learnt, and it was dribbled in with 2 other entries. It was one of them had learned how to portal, another one had learned how to transfer power. So it was mentioned in a previous crawler's entry, highlighting what they had learned from what the other previous cookbook entries what they specialized in.
But we hear that from, what was it, Rosetta and Tippett, right? We don't hear that from Carl, who's read the book front to back a lot.
One of the chapters started off with a cookbook entry, and it was a Rosetta entry or a later crawler who was an author of the cookbook, highlighting previous crawlers' specialties.
Well, I think with Carl, though, it's even though he's read it multiple times, I'm sure front to back, how much of it has he been able to understand fully, the implications of some of the stuff that they're talking about? Because eventually, they start putting in entries, and then other later entries from other editions, basically say,
refer back to it.
What they say, it's what they said here is actually no longer good anymore because they patched in or updated things. So it's you got to ignore it now.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it sounded like Rosetta and Tippett were very surprised that, like, they were
They
calling
thought it was
Carl
more.
stupid.
They thought it was really obvious. They thought all the pieces had been like put into place with the yam, with other big things. Like Rosetta Rosetta was labeled a terrorist after bringing up yams on her special. Like everyone else was kind of figuring out something's going on here. They're trying to communicate something. They're trying to use code. And Carl's like, "What? Milk?"
Hopefully with a bunch of former callers coming in.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, at my job, I've worked there a long time. I get a new person and they don't know how to do something. And in my head, I'm like, how in the hell do you not know how to do? Remember, Rosetta and Tippett were crawlers like 1,000 years ago, like 20 some editions. And they say the cookbook only comes up every.
Yeah, 22 cycles.
And so for them, they're like, they've seen so many crawls. To them, everything's obvious. But Carl, this is Carl's first time through. He doesn't know
figuring it out.
Like, up until like 3-4 months ago, he thought he was alone in the universe. He was just trying to get his cat out from a tree in the middle of winter, and suddenly everything get smushed.
And these people, they've been watching the crawl for, you're right, thousands of cycles. So they're so
he's learning literally everything, including the politics, as he's going along, as people are giving him stuff, and he's trying to parse it together and figure out things out, especially with Mordecai helping fill in some blanks, but even he doesn't know all of it because he's forced to be, basically an indentured servant with the crawl.
So the reason why I brought that up, though, is because I think what you brought something much earlier in this discussion, Maude, where we don't know like who's directing Carl to do what, and because we haven't actually seen Carl read that passage or him mention anything about like how these powers are transferred, I think this may just be an audience has more knowledge, and not just us as the audience, but also Rosetta and Tippett. They might have more knowledge, and maybe there's something being moved behind the scenes that maybe excised it from the cookbook. Whoever's controlling
but
things.
They were entries, and Carl has read this front to back a few times, and I think because of that, they are thinking that he's piecing it together. But no, but he's not. He's not at all. And because like every single day he's trying to fight for his life. Yeah, every single day he's fighting for his life.
Yeah, he doesn't have time. He's trying to like learn stuff from the cookbook and gain an advantage, but he's also trying to like multitask multiple different plans to just not.
And there's side quests where it's like the fucking seals and the crabs, and he's going to sort that out. And then he's got another side quest with this Amberus and like the son and who killed my son. And so he's just like, oh, come on. Yeah,
he ignores this one side quest that it's like, okay, anytime you see him ignore something, the AI is going to come back and.
That's it. Okay, so that's who the voice was. That was a big thing that was in the fable, so I'm glad we addressed that. The next question, the truth about Lucia Ma. This is something that also came up in the epilogue. I know we're at time, but I really want to get through this one because there's like three more things that we need to get through. Rosetta did tell Carl about a recipe that she once read that used milk and root vegetable. Yes, and she got taken off air and labeled a terrorist after it. Truth about Lucia Ma. Spoiler for anyone that hasn't gotten here. This is the end of book 6. This person was listening through the latest time, finally paid enough attention during book 6 epilogue to hear the communication between Agatha and Agent 21, who used to be known as Pavati, who now goes by the new name Alejandro. From this, it finally makes sense. Where have we heard Alejandro before? The name Alejandro. Anyone? Beulah?
Oh, the dogs.
The dogs.
It's in either the dog or Lucia's head.
Or Lucia's head. So,
yes.
or a little both, like calling the dog Alejandro, but it's in her head.
So, from this, it finally makes sense why Lucia Ma is so messed up and why she seems to make decisions that are counter to what is needed. There is another residual inside the dungeon. Donut killed the wrong one. So there is a subreddit. I'm going to click onto it and show you the whole thing. All right. How is some questions and brainstorming? Like, how is Gustavo involved in this? Is Alejandro connected to Gustavo, who's connected to Lucia mentally? Like, is Gustavo some sort of antennae? How did a 13-year-old Lucia Ma get into the dungeon, still a child? Did Alejandro or Alexandro transfer into her, and then the system used Alexandro's age to determine eligibility? Or is because so many children were in Lucia's mind, It added up all of their ages instead of just taking her individual age. Residuals take on the memories of the people that they take over and even identify with them and are influenced by them. Could that residual have taken over multiple children, hopping from one to the next to survive, maybe to evade Borant, who was onto them, before entering the dungeon as Lucia? That'd be pretty dark. I don't know what if the kids would survive the process. And it would have to be played out in the time between the collapse and the deadline to enter the dungeon. But it would explain why there's so many personalities in there. So this person is just brainstorming a malevolent version of Lucia Alexandro. Is her evil persona actually her and influenced by her chosen race? So we don't know all of this stuff. But essentially, an agent has infiltrated Lucia, and that's why she's got the multiple personalities and what's happening. If you're in the Google Doc, I've linked all of these subreddits if you want to go down the rabbit hole. There's another Reddit rabbit hole about why Carl didn't use the ring at all on this floor. Basically, he's just trying to remove a lot of chance. Carl didn't use the daughter's kiss from the scavenger's daughter, which is his new ability, where the more souls that he takes, it powers up a level bar. It levels up his bar. Once that maxes out, he has to expel that energy. And he's done it before, and it packs a punch. If he doesn't expel it, and if his meter stays full, it will hurt him. We don't know how it's going to hurt him. He's kind of had it before where he had this like itching feeling, this sensation where it just felt wrong. So he had to like expel it. He's gone to the next floor, not having emptied his meter. What do you think this will mean? Book 7 readers, shush. Yes, Nerda, it was one of the youth counselors. Yes, that was helping watch the children in the kinder facility. Yes, that is an agent. It's all coming together. What do you think is going to happen to Carl now that he's entered the 8th floor without having expended the meter?
9th floor, but yes.
9th floor? 9th floor? 7th didn't happen? Well, he's around Donut. Is it going to hurt him physically, or is it going to ramp up the river? Is it going to hurt him emotionally, psychologically? That's something we need to look forward to. And does anyone or everyone need a rehash on the end fight with Shi-Maria? Or have you kind of figured out what's going on there? Because there is a few paragraphs in a subreddit that kind of clearly...
I mean, Mongo scales and tore off a wing, if I remember right.
Yep.
Basically,
what we got...
arm on one of the other crawlers, if I remember.
Katya lost an arm.
Katya lost an arm, and she seems fine about it. She seems real good, apparently, even though when she lost 2 fingers, like, she was not great at all, and that was the beginning of the end for her. One of the crawlers who lost his legs had a flexed up magic wheelchair. That's been broken.
Itran.
Okay, so here in the subreddit, let me read it out for you. Shi-Maria killed Alpha Carl as soon as Donut played the combo card, knowing that with no other totem available, and Carl being considered a minion of Donuts, she's mentioned this to Carl earlier, the combo card would cause the 2 of them to merge. Once in Carl's head, she can see that his intention was to not keep his word. He had mentioned discussing options with Donut on which card to keep, and it wasn't Shi-Maria. What did she do to him? Well, she took over his body. She gave him a tattoo that only is sometimes visible. She took the eye of a friend crawler. In order to preserve herself, she tattoos the eye onto Carl using ink made from the yam, which has the ability to effectively transfer powers or essence. In this case, she had licked the tattoo needle, so her saliva combined with the ink preserves Shi-Maria's essence into Carl and removes the risk of Carl tearing her card up. I guess what's to stop Carl from explaining to his friends exactly what she did to him while they merged? I think they understand that when merged, it was mostly her body, but with Carl's torso. She openly threatens to harm Carl so that they know that he's not fully in control during the merge. It's heavily implied that the usage of the ink here was the intended use for the yam that was sent to Carl in the first place, i.e. there might be other usages of the tattoo to transfer / infuse powers into Carl. I'm sure it will come out that Shi-Maria is a presence within Carl soon. while I don't think anyone would be mad at Carl for what happened, I mean, it's not his fault. I can't fault Li Jun even if he is. I think it will more be that there's even more of a reason to fear Carl. If you think about Louis' dialogue earlier in book 6, I'm scared that any day now you're going to lose it and just kill all of us. So that's what's going to happen kind of going into book 8. Not a spoiler. We already know that the NPCs of floor 6 are now on floor 9. Yes. They transferred the entire castle full of the NPCs. And they already flooded Morocco's. There's a bunch of shit. Guys, let's just keep reading book 7. Let's just read it. We've got Words of Radiance. I mean, it's a little bit of light reading. You can get it out in 3 days. You know. We've got to read book 7. I'm also trying to read my Throne of Glass reread. I do it every 3 or 4 years. I'm like 4 or 5 books into that. I want to keep reading that. Cancel, friends. Don't come to my birthday stream. We just got to read, okay? That's what this is. We just have to read. Oh boy. Thank you to Tay and Vaden for helping out with the documents as always. There's a lot to think about, a lot of subreddits in there. I had a lot of fun doing a deep dive. Woohoo! The birthday stream will be me reading book 7. I like that. I don't think you're allowed to actually do that, which sucks. Like you're prohibited from repurposing or reading out like too much of a book publicly, which is annoying. But I get it. Yeah, I get it. No, thank you, Vaden. That was a lot of fun. I just need a reaction video of face emotions. Oh my gosh, I'll just read it on the stream and I'll be like, no, I listened to it though. I'll just have my earbuds in, can't hear anything. It's just me listening to the book going, no way. Oh, I'm losing my voice.
It's like a reaction, but you don't know what you're reacting to specifically unless you're following along in the book.
And then I'll be like, chapter 2.
Or you could basically like say, okay, we're all gonna sync the audiobook 3, 2,
yeah, you're gonna have to read it at 1.5 minimum. Someone's like, please, no. Yes, 1.5. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, boom. That's fun. Anyway, yeah, Words of Radiance. This is our March book. We are going to be tackling book 7. It's probably going to be in July. So far, April is looking to be. What did I put in the book pick? Jade City. And we're going to finish off A Court of Wings and Ruin. Yes, because I promised that back in February, but we switched some things around. It is February right now. We were supposed to do it this month. So we're going to get that in April. And then May, we're going to do Thrawn Trilogy, the newest one that just came out. And then in June, for Pride Month, we're going to be doing V.E. Schwab's new book, Bury My Bones in the Midnight Soil, Lesbian Vampires. Hell yeah. And then the bonus book's going to be This Is How You Lose a Time War, which is a real short book, which is quite good. It's a 4-hour listen on 1.0. So that'll be good. I know A Court of Wings and Ruin is a hefty book too. I can read that in 3 days though. I mean, I know not everyone's listening at my speed and just like listening the whole day. Nerdist says, oh my gosh, V. Schwab books. I love her. We've done Vicious when I was doing Nerdist Book Club. We've done A Darker Shade of Magic as a bonus book, which I have behind me here. And we've done Secret Life of Addie LaRue, which was fantastic. Love V. Schwab. Interviewed her. Gosh, I would love to interview her again. Maybe I could do one for Bury Bones, Midnight Soil. Why not? Yeah, why not? Make it happen. Let's just get Brandon Sanderson on the show in March as well. I'll just tell him it's my birthday. Just do it, Brandon. What are you doing? Tim! I physically read A Court of Wings and Ruin in a few days. I know. And that's going to be in April. Yeah, I'll probably read it at the end of March. Just get it all done. We'll have schedules out. New achievement. We'll have schedules out ahead of time. We've gone over. I'm going to go. Hey, birthday month. Oh, it's your birthday month? Cool. We're all getting older. How fun.
I'm just my birthday month as well.
Yay! Go March. Toast Post says, I'm just going to power through Words of Radiance. I'm past part 1. It's a slog so far. But we'll do it together. All right, who are we going to raid? It's raiding time. Raiden Vaden?
Okay, let me see.
Raiden
And you have Steven Spawn. You got Michelle Boyd.
Helldivers.
Pancake.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals. You know, oh my God, Chilled Chaos is still doing Among Us. Wow, and people are still watching it. 3.7 thousand concurrent views. That's wild. I mean, I can't play Among Us for more than 4 games in a row. He's been doing it for 4 years in a row. Good on him. Ba-ba-ba. I don't know.
Was Bailey in for Run Tavern? I don't know.
What's Tavern Quest? That
Quest,
sounds fun.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
I like Bailey versus Predator. She's just getting into Pokemon Go. So we're newly Pokemon Go friends. There we go. Bailey versus Predator was working for Phantom, and they went through big redundancies, and so she's streaming now. So please show your support for Bailey. She's a good egg. Yes, March 6th will be the birthday stream. It'll be a couple of hours. I might play some Fields of Mystery art. I'm going to try and do some more streams maybe throughout the week. And we're going to do a game on stream. We've got to figure that out. And sorry, we dropped the ball for tomorrow. That's not great, but we will figure it out. We'll make it up. Yay, bye guys. I'm tired. That was a lot. That was a lot of Reddit.
If it makes you feel any better, I worked up a sweat during the stream.
Doing what?
You're a movie